But I also wanted to touch on the Nygaard family over there. When I look back, looking back as we're moving back through time a little bit here, and I find the history fascinating. And as we know, you, Mr. Walsh, have made him a very important member of our society here and our community here. And I was blessed to feel their companionship early on. And as you know, you crossed a bit of a line with me on that deal, and I took one on the chin for you, right? So yeah, right. And so that's part of why I'm here tonight too. So we need to figure out as a city, as a community, how to heal.
You got about 45 seconds left. Just want to remind you that.
I am going to tell you this then. You have 30 days. And make no mistake about it. If in 30 days I come here and you have not settled the matter with this family, believe me when I tell you, you will not be there the day after.
Are you?
That's a fact.
Hold on.
I think
that is a promise. It is not a threat. I want to be very clear.
We're done. I think you need to
I
sit down
appreciate
now.
that.
I think you need to sit
Fair
down.
enough.
Okay? Thank you.
I will be back.
Okay. Noted. For sure. Is there anybody else who would like to speak tonight?
Fix this family. Fix this family.
Okay, seeing none, I will close public comments, and we'll move to...
Excuse me. I would like to speak, thank you. Took me a minute to get up, I'm sorry. Please let me know when you start your clock.
I started it.
There you go. Because for anything related to us, the Nygaards, or anyone who's contrary to you, that's what gets to happen. I've never seen you pull the clock on anything else. And it's really funny how angled you are with that. I know what Brad's here about. Many other people do too. By the way, Jay Nygaard, Orono, Minnesota, been here long as anybody else. Longer than you. And by the way, I was born here, unlike you. Gotta tell you, it's hard to hold my emotions in when I'm dealing with such a character as yourself. And I have not necessarily affectionately coined you as the Weasel Walsh, because that is how you behave in society. You play games and nobody quite knows what's happening, then it comes out. Very much so. And the really crazy thing is, all of these years, all of these things you have done, like threaten my family, threaten my kids, threaten my wife, threaten her job, threaten our mortgage. You have done these things, you've been documented doing it. You cleared your bluff, and somehow you got this city to ask Mound if it was okay. You got a neighbor to sue the city, to sue us, and then you appointed him to a commission for doing so, a newly commission you created. You formed a company called Go Green Energy LLC Corporation, mirroring my Go Green Energy LLC, and then used these city funds, including this supposed lawyer here, to back up your ploy. And you've never once been held accountable for any of your actions. And it's really fun watching. I got to tell you, it's really fun watching you, because you are filling the descriptor I named you with. Weasel. It's exactly how you're acting. Looking around, playing games. I remember one point that his kids would come down to my garage and want to hang out with me. And I'm like, you're not my kids. Why don't you go home and deal with your dad? And they're like, well, I don't want to go home. I'm like, well, you should. Well, from what I understand, these kids are not his favorites. He's got other kids that are his favorites. People who do not know Dennis Walsh, unfortunately, are fooled by Dennis Walsh. Absolutely. You've been in lawsuits with your own family. You've gotten in drunken bar fights that I've understood you. You called the cops ass pipe fucks when they pulled you over for drunk driving. You were so drunk. I haven't done any of that. This is what you do. This is what you have perpetrated on society. And I really feel bad for Brad. Because you used him to remove my products out of this city. You coerced him, put your knee on his throat and said, we as a city are not going to support your recovering money from Hennepin County unless you take down Mr. Nygaard's turbine. And that was while you had filed Go Green Energy LLC Corporation while you were on the Orono City Council. And it's really sad that people up here have not taken the time to look at you and actually do one of the dozens of investigations I've asked for related to your specific conduct. You know what? I'm going to finish this on one other specific lie you said. I came up here one time and I asked everybody who attended ethics training. You, Mr. Walsh, had to lie about that. You looked around and you raised your hand. You know what? I got a couple more brain cells going on than you because I actually did a data request and found out that you never attended ethics trainings. I knew the answer to that question, and the crazy thing is I knew exactly how you were going to answer. Why? Because you're the weasel. Turbine Guy, signing off, everybody.
Is there anybody else who'd like to come up and speak tonight? No? Okay, now we're...
Hold on. I've got to say something here. This behavior is despicable.
Excuse me?
Hey, no, your public comments is over.
No, you had your time to talk. I'm a citizen of this city too. I'm going to talk.
Then the microphone's right here.
I'm going to talk.
I appreciate that this time you didn't interrupt me like last time angrily. I appreciate you're actually able to control yourself while I was presenting facts. But to sit here and take shots at me is ridiculous. I didn't
Jay,
speak
sit
about
down.
you at all.
Jay, sit down. Your time is up.
Jay, sit down.
Sit down.
The behavior...
Your time is up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Weasel.
Lambasting somebody like that
No,
is not productive.
Facts.
It's not productive.
Why don't you tell me one thing I said wrong, one thing I lied about?
Sit down.
Why don't you tell me one thing I
He's
lied
not
about?
going to sit down. Come
Okay,
on.
well, I'm gonna get the,
Of course you're going to call the cops because you can't face the truth.
that's because you won't
And then you got to have
abide by the rules of our
You gotta have
city
your
council.
little
Sit down.
lackey over here speak for you.
You can have all your own
Really?
facts you want.
Sit
Have
down.
all your own facts, but it's time to
They
sit
have
down.
facts. Go to the Secretary of State website. You'll find the facts. These are all facts I've spoken of tonight. And you can see right now,
Sit
there are only
down.
answers to denigrate me. Well, I'll tell you what,
Who's got
I
the
can't
button?
wait till the federal court comes through and rules against your sorry asses for what you did to us recently. Then we'll talk facts.
So that's what this is about. It's about your
no,
legal.
no.
That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's about
It's
him.
clear.
No,
It's clear.
It's about him
It's
being
clear.
the weasel. It's about him doing what he's done, threatening
Jay.
my family all these years and everything else, and you being a
The
lackey
first time I ever
defending
met you, the first thing you said to me was denigrating Denny. You didn't even know me.
I wonder why.
I didn't know you. Those were the first words out of your mouth.
And he deserved it.
Oh, of course, because you said so.
No,
I don't
because-
think so.
no, because
That's not the way the world works.
His actions.
It does-
Getting out there, putting out YouTube
So can I have
things
my 5
like an
minutes?
immature
Can I have my
5-year-old
5
is not the way to
We've
do
closed the
it.
public minutes. We're done. It's
What?
time to sit down.
Oh my
We've
God.
closed them.
First Amendment rights are not.
We've closed them.
Soren?
We've closed them.
Soren, could you please weigh in on this? I think I would be given my 5 minutes. How could they just close it? They didn't even make a motion to move to close it. Please.
We don't ever make a motion to close it.
Well,
If we
who-
want to honor
who
your 5
unilaterally
minutes, if we
chooses
want
to
to honor
close
your
it?
5 minutes, we can. We also
I
have
have
to.
not.
We've closed it. It's time to sit down. We've told him to sit down. He
I'm
wouldn't
not
sit
going to
down.
sit down.
Okay,
you
well
can
then.
arrest me, honey.
Okay.
Come on. I'm getting up on the stage. Come on. Come on. I'm not the person to do it to. I'm disabled. I am beyond pissed. I am beyond.
Okay, take your 5 minutes. It's just started.
Oh, it has. Thank you. Okay.
You can keep going with the circus here.
There is no circus, Mr. Weasel Walsh. You are a despicable human being.
Oh, fuck.
I regret you ever moving into Orono. I regret you ever becoming the mayor of Orono. You are a sadist. You get pleasure out of watching people like me and my husband and my children receive pain. But you know what? It's done. I left. I moved to Florida 5 years ago to get away from people like you. And you can sit there for 4 minutes and 15 seconds longer and squirm your little weasel dance. And you know what? The city staff, when I do the weasel dance, they're going to go back on YouTube and they're going to go, look at Mrs. Nygaard doing the weasel dance. Because you know what? You are. You are a weasel. You are a despicable human being. Everything you can do, like quid pro quo, to take down the Nygaards just because you don't like us? Okay, what the hell? I am so beyond you and your despicable nature. I have moved freaking 1,500 miles away. So, oh, is my husband getting arrested? No.
Not yet.
Not yet. So, anyhow.
I vote, Jackie. Okay, next other thing is public comments. We have changed our public comments a little bit this time around. We have limited the public comments to 3 minutes. We figure if you can't articulate your message in 3 minutes, that you should probably get in touch with the staff or get in touch with the city council person. We are also going to put the timer up on the clock, so then you can see your time and not have to ask somebody for it. And at 3 minutes, the mic will be muted, and then we'll be asked you to sit down. So, anyways, so with that said, we're at public comments. If there's anybody who'd like to come up with public comments,
Absolutely.
I would like to take a 5-minute recess. We'll be back
I'll
in a
second
minute.
it.
All right.
Recess.
We'll take a 5-minute recess.
Excuse me? Holy crazy. Y'all saw that on YouTube. They changed it from 5 minutes to 3 minutes because they can't handle people calling them out for what they're doing. And now, because I come up to talk, look, everybody's gone. The Turbine Guy chases them out of the room merely by presenting words. There you go. Well,
Okay, we're back for public comment. If there's anybody who'd like to come up and speak, state your name and address, and staff will start the clock. Adam.
Oh, you started the clock before I started? Really? That's quite interesting. It's really not. I mean, I gotta say, you guys are really an embarrassment.
And who are you? State your name and address
Sorry,
for the
Jay
record,
Nygaard,
please.
Turbine Guy, Orono, Minnesota. I live right down the road from Weasel Walsh. I've known these people long enough, even though Crosby doesn't want to admit. I know a lot more about him than he understands. None of that matters. What matters is I can't believe you guys just walked out on my 3-minute comment, held yourself a nice open meeting violation and back, instead of just let me talk. It goes to show the character of this council. Taking public comments from 5 minutes to 3 minutes goes to show the character of this council. Putting a clock up there to time people goes to show the character of this council. Not only that, saying, you know what, your microphone's going to be shut off, goes to show the character of this council. Now, I really wish I had a mirror so everybody could look at themselves instead of trying to look and blame other people. But what's gone on in this council, trying to kick the veterans off of Big Island, trying to give away a park lately, giving away a fire lane to a planning chair commissioner. There's a lot of things that you guys really should be thinking about. And it's really sad to me, as someone who's been here most likely longer than any of you, that you are all doing this to my community. My community. See, one person a character. Well, I'll give Richard two. 2 people willing to look at me. That says something about our council, too. It's really disappointing in this day and age that you guys would play games like this when I know that Walsh himself ran on transparency. And what kind of transparency is it when you take public comments down from 3 minutes or from 5 minutes to 3? What kind of transparency is it when you guys have to leave the room to get together to talk? hold each other's hands in the background, and make sure nobody says or does anything wrong. It's sad. It's sad what this council is doing to the city. It's sad that this council does not have character and does not have transparency. It truly is. It's sad what you're doing to the residents of this community, the criminal prosecutions and everything else. You know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let your 5-minute to 3-minute stand as a testament to what this council is.
All right, is there anybody else who'd like to come up for public comment tonight? Seeing none, we'll close public comment.
Jay Nygaard, Road, Orono, Minnesota. And I'm here about something that happened a few years ago, and unfortunately, it seems most of you were part of it. In 2014, Walsh was elected to the council. 2016, Walsh formed a company called Go Green Energy LLC Corporation. My business is Go Green Energy LLC. From what I understand, Walsh was running around giddy that he was stealing my business. And all of you were sitting up there just, I don't know, doing what? How would any of you feel if that happened to you, that someone who got elected to the council decided to form a business to mirror your business and then be giddy about it as he used city and state funds to sue you to run your business out of business? That's what I experienced, and you were all a part of it, and you know it because you were there and you were with him and you know how he acted. I know it now too, because I now have a witness ready to step forward that not only did that happen, but after he moved to mayor in 2017, Walsh devised a quid pro quo with our neighbor to sue the city to sue us, which is unconscionable. Unconscionable. That's not how property zoning complaints work. They work that if the city has an issue, you use your own funds to do it. The League of Minnesota Trust is for when you're sued. But he figured that, and then shortly after, you all appointed my neighbor to some new zoning council, or shortly before, whatever. This was a quid pro quo developed. And unfortunately, for Mr. I'm going to shake my head like who I am up there and smirk and smile, I now have someone who's going to come and tell the truth that you abused your position as mayor to remove one of my products and interfere with one of my contracts and get rid of a turbine at another business simply because it interfered with your litigation with me and it interfered with your chance to take my business over. It happened. You all know it. You were here. Who here works and establishes a business for years to have one of their elected officials dance around with glee that, hey, I'm going to steal their business? Well, that's what's going on here. That's called bribery. That's what Mayor Walsh is involved in. It's a criminal act, and the statute of limitations is not expired because the court case was recently closed. So you are all exposed to this. And my question to you, and I'm not talking to him, I'm talking to you and you and you. Are you all going to do the right thing and come forward and talk about what happened in the real light? Or are you simply going to become an accessory to the crimes of this man against a longtime resident, against a disabled veteran, and against someone who owns a business in this community? What are you going to do?
Okay, your time is up there, Mr. Nygaard.
You're not going to
have
let
a
me go any
seat.
longer?
Have a seat.
You've let people go longer in a previous meeting. You're going to stop me?
Have a seat, Jay.
I'm just asking. You're going to stop me?
Have a seat, Jay. You're three. Okay, let's mute the
that's
mic
fine.
then.
I got you all
Sit
on
down.
tape doing it. See, this is called First Amendment.
Anybody else like to come up and speak at public comments tonight? Not again. Nope. Not until number 11 or number 11. You can come up and talk then. I didn't say limited. You did. And there's actually no public comment. It's not a public hearing anyways, so it's up to our discretions, but I appreciate that. Okay, And with nobody else coming up for public comments, we'll close public comments. We will move on to our finance report. Ron? Okay, anybody else like to talk about this item?
Just quick, I tried looking for that letter online today, and the letter was up from Long Lake, but your responses weren't, so I was a little frustrated. I couldn't read anything ahead of time, so I don't know what was wrong with the website about that. But
Jay, do you want this copy?
sure, that'd be great. But I agree, sometimes erasing history is more expensive than what you're talking about, and I think it's kind of silly that this council that's spending a lot more money in raising fees like never before is all of a sudden worried about money when it comes to history in this community.
Yeah, what fees are we raising, Jay? What fees?
Two things you've done. One thing is you've changed it from quarterly payments for fees to monthly payments to
That's-
disguise how much they're going up. It's obvious.
Not
that they've
raising
been going-
fees.
Can
It's changing.
You asked me a question. Can I talk without you interrupting me, please?
Well, if you say something that's not correct, I'll interrupt you. Because you seem to say a lot of things that are not correct at public
You
comments.
changed the payment schedule from quarterly to monthly, and my opinion is that you did it to hide the ever-escalating fees in this city. And you can laugh all you want, but I write the check for them. And now I have to write 12 checks a year instead of 4 checks a year. So not only are you doing it to hide the escalating fees, but you're making it more difficult on your constituents.
Well, you're wrong about
Especially
that,
some of the
so-
constituents who really can't afford it around here. And I know the fees have been going up because I've been paying them. Simple enough.
Is that all you got?
Your other
that all you
discussion
got?
was on erasing history, and I would take offense to that, because different from you, I was part of that history. Same with the Seals family. So we have involved history in the fire department. We've got sweat and tears, and we put our lives on the line for the community. So there's no history that's going to be erased here.
Okay, can I answer that? Summit Beach, you tried giving it away.
No,
You guys
that's
gave-
not
you
true.
guys
That is
gave-
completely untrue.
Mr. Crosby asked me
Completely
a
untrue.
question, and I'm trying to answer it. Are
It's
you going to be
and I'm telling you
adult
it's
enough?
completely untrue.
Are you going to be adult enough to
You're going
let
to tell
me
the truth.
respond?
You can't tell the truth up there. It's the
Are
problem.
you going to be adult enough to let me respond?
Until you say something wrong, and I will correct you.
Okay, until I say something wrong. You formed a corporation called Go Green Energy LLC Corporation to mirror
We're
mine.
going to come back to the fire department.
I've just-
If you want to talk public
This is a
comments,
discussion
your
on
public
item number
comments is
11.
over.
Yes, and you brought a question to me about erasing history, and to me it's bigger.
No, you brought
and
up
it's bigger,
erasing history, and I'm clarifying.
Yes, and I'm trying to respond to your question. You trying to clarify. I'm trying to clarify my position. And my position is that it's bigger than the fire department, that fire lane was given to a planning commission chair for a nominal donation. Fire lanes are precious in this community. We should never, ever give one up, and I never would have thought to do so when I was on the council. You're allowing people to bike in Beaterwood Park without going through the proper process. You've given that to a local biking group without following procedure.
Okay, well,
And
I'm
on top of that-
going to get back to this.
I was
okay?
asked a question. And on top of that, Summit Beach, you guys tried to give it to the rowing club and put a monstrous building there. And those are all facts.
Yeah, do you have anything you want to talk about the fire department now? Because that's the otherwise
Yeah,
we're just
you're
going to mute
wrong.
the mic and we'll be done.
Sure, you're wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. I think it's bad for the community what you're doing, and I think Gabriel's absolutely right. It's about sitting down and communicating. Something I don't think you understand at all, Mr. Mayor, okay, is there are interactions between the communities here over the decades. You're an outsider coming in. You don't know what it's like to live in Long Lake and Orono. I do. It's like a big brother, little brother thing. And you know what big brothers and little brothers do? They look out for each other. They don't strong arm each other. And unfortunately, you're playing the strong arm game, and you aren't looking out for little brother.
All right. Anybody else have any comments on the letter?
No, I don't have, I gave it away, but